Is the microphone working? The microphone is working. Our thumbnail was plenty stupid. I've got plenty of tea. I just started this with a massive sneezing fit. It is that time of year. It's allergy season. So we're going to use a little bit of snot in our play. How is everybody doing? What harps are you playing? What are you into? Is the microphone working? It is. I'll start off with this Plehanov I got. Oh, this harp, I really, really like this harp. And I'm a little bit snotty right now because it's allergy season. That's not going away. How is everybody doing? The tone on this is just so clean. And there is a single Diesel hair stuck to it. Diesel was chilling with me last night. I was playing the harp, playing the drums. Diesel was chilling. Etkin how are you doing? It is great to see you. How are you doing? How's the great out yonder? How is everybody's harping in the time of the Rona? Oh, that's some good tea. It was nice and sunshiny today. I put a quart jar on the back porch. This isn't that jar, but put a couple bags of PG tips in it. Made some sun tea, my favorite way to make tea. Said I'm currently playing a Dmitri Glazur in 835. I'm trying to think of which one that is. Sounds like a lighthouse, but I'm not sure. That's what the DG stands for. I'm playing this Plehanov. This thing is just melodically the way. Hey Cyberfish, how are you doing? It's great to see you. Zarathustra Monk. I can't even pronounce that. Thank you. I've taken some melodic lessons and I have another lesson tomorrow. Hopefully, I was wanting to take some Morchang lessons, but tragedy hit. Probably one of the best Morchang players in the world, Rahis Khan, had a tragedy. So it was nice. Oh yes, I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to try to get back into doing less meditational videos so I can keep my meditations to myself. And also doing more tutorials, more unboxings, more fun stuff, more useful stuff instead of you just seeing me harping out and losing my mind. How long have I been playing? Don't worry. I would say January of 4 years ago. So I just passed my 4th year of playing. I had a hernia surgery a little over 4 years ago. It ended up me taking 7 weeks off work. I bought a toy Hobby Lobby mouth harp, which I loved, and it was horrible. I ordered my first harp from mouthmusic.com, which has been closed down. But oh yeah, maybe I'll do a little bit of the meditative play. But my meditations I've just been liking to keep to myself, and I figure I need to get back to the stuff that made me semi-popular: the tutorials, the unboxings, the theories. Matt Strobel says still harping in Michigan and fortunate enough to still be working. I lost what it is. I'm still fortunate enough to be working at least 30. I'm mandated to work 32 hours a week during this because I'm HVAC. So I'm fortunate to still be working. My wife's still working over the internet. And this is Dr. Pickby. Mr. Pickby, what are you up to, dude? You see the treadmill over here? Mr. Pickus. He's like, oh, Mr. Pickus is too good for all of us. And anytime there's a cat involved, I have like 50 million ways to say their name. If Mouse Music is down, will you be selling Zology now? I have just re-emailed Zoltan Zology again. I got an order of about $1,500 worth of Zology a few years ago that I gave away as Christmas presents, but I didn't want to sell the Zology because I didn't want to compete with Mouth Music. But since Mouth Music is going away, I will be getting Zology. It'll probably be at least the fall because of the pandemic. I'm also going to be getting Schluter's. Andreas Schluter is going to be making some instruments. Oh, Chow from Kansas, USA. How you doing? This is Mr. Pickles, Senior Pickby, Mr. Pickist, and he is another reason why my harps down here in the Chillery have cat and dog hair on them. So you see me playing, and then I'm picking a hair out, which is the way it is. I'm not a germaphobe. However, when I went shopping this week, I did actually wear a construction face mask just because It's allergy season. My nose is running. I'm wearing a mask. It wasn't that bad. My Bane impression was not on point, though. Nobody got it. And I was thinking, like, if I wear a face mask again, I'm going to have to wear a mask as well. My son got a whole bunch of different superhero masks. So I'll wear one of those when I go out shopping because, you know, it'd be good to be wearing a mask when you're shopping during the age of the Rona. And if you're not into dad jokes, I'm sorry. If you're not into cats, that's okay too. What is everybody playing? What have you been into? I've been playing this, and I played a whole bunch of different Homeless last night. Lost my mind down here in the dark playing. Najee Rafai, and my pronunciation is probably bad. I usually like Kalimbas and things like that, but William Schroder, hi, hello, welcome to the Harpery. It's wonderful to have you. Mr. Pickby, I can't play if you keep tickling me with your whiskers. Should I wear you as a cat? A cat hat? Is that the way the great book goes? What do I think? I think I've got cat hair on me now, stuck to my oily harp. Glasrin Star and Palmistry. Oh, nice. Mr. Pickby, you have to be going. I already fed you, dude. Now isn't the time for cat rubbings, dude. Could we hear a new Kovat Cinco tonight? They're all in the Harpery. Normally before I go in the Harpery, which is where I used to record my videos, just because of the coronavirus, I disinfect my hands. There's a whole thing I do before I go in there, so I can't just go running in there and grab a Kovat Cinco. But yeah, the new Kovat Cinco with the black reeds, they're really flexible reeds. I really do like them, especially the G2. He looks like plastic. I might be made out of plastic. I contain lots of carbon. I think plastic contains carbon. I think I might have an older Kovat Cinco, my C2 down here. I don't have a great setup for finding harps quickly. Oh, I did make sure that I had out the Piezo. I've been going live on Instagram last night. I went live on Instagram, and Raw came on. Oh, I can't remember his last name. Raw came on there and did a tutorial known as Fractal Burrito on Instagram, or not a tutorial, but did some playing. Was absolutely fantastic. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. That's Bebcorp, Bebbcorp. I think next Friday Raw is going to come on and share a few of his techniques. And if you've ever seen Raw play or Fractal Burrito play, he's from Oregon. He is fantastic. At the festival, I sat next to him at a campground and listened to him play for probably 15 or 20 minutes. Was absolutely fantastic. Drinking some sun tea, tea of the sun. Man, my brain is just not working today. It was a good day today. We went for a long hike up at Indian Rock. Lots of rocks, lots of trees and whatnot. And I'm gonna play these Dabrowski. I've been getting down on the Dabrowski, really. I just ordered another Dabrowski today. Can you recommend an awesome super saturated harp? Anything by Glazerin tends to be very, very high in saturation. I don't think I have any Glazerin here. Or also Ildar is like a very distorted saturation. Let's see if I can find my Ildar. I think Glazerin is a pretty good bet on saturation. They probably are some of the most saturated harps. The Ildar are really, really, and I haven't put in, I got some of the Ildar Titanium. I haven't had time yet to put them on the Harpery. Oh, another thing, a friend of mine, Henry Galerpin, suggested to me, there's an app you can get on your phone. It's your first 3 downloads are free off it. It's called Drum Genius, and I've been playing some random drum rhythms and listening to them and trying to play to them. Wasn't able to play to them very well last night, but he figured that that would help me branch out and find different rhythms. So I'm going to be doing more playing along with that, more listening to different drum beats from different types of music to try to widen my mindset on rhythms. Nyet, 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 nyet. And I'm breathing just in and out through my nose, just giving it a little bit. Allergies haven't finally taken all of my nose breathing yet, so I'm going to milk that out while I can. And I'm really phlegmy, so those catfish noises or snoring or whatever you call it is also easy too. So If life's going to give you snot, if you have allergies, go ahead and use your snoring, because when you're snotty, it's super easy to do. It's a gross thing to talk about, but it gives you a definite advantage for catfish noises. On the harp. There's some glottis in there too. My Romanov is super saturated. Oh yes, that's the one I forgot. Romanov most of them are going to be super saturated. That Joker run, the Poor York, is extremely loud. Probably second loudest harp I've ever heard. Kev the Wrecker Hoach. Hey, hello, hi, how are you? How's your harping? What's your beverage of choice this evening? Mine is sun tea. It's Najee Rafai says, what do you mean by saturated? That is the best question. That's a saturation as defined by a friend of mine who knows more on harps than I do. He defined it as an abundance of higher overtones. It's like what leads to the crackling nature. Mine is, milk. Oh, nice. Hello. Okay, we're getting off track here. So let me find something that's very, very unsaturated. Like a Morchang, like a Gorka. Where do I get Romanov from? Oh, I get them from the maker Romanov out of Russia. I don't buy from any stores. I always deal directly with makers and in Glazern. You know, every time I order Glazern, it's $2,000 to $5,000 worth of harps at once. This Gorka is very, very unsaturated. It's not crackling. This Ildar. There's an abundance of higher overtones, so there's like a but something that's unsaturated. So there's not that abundance of crackling, and there is advantages to both. I play a lot more unsaturated instruments than I do saturated, and what mechanically speaking makes a harp more or less saturated, really tight gaps, which you can have a harp with really tight gaps that doesn't really have much saturation, like Babeo. Or no, that's an Iverson. Iverson are ridiculously tight, but there's not really much saturation. I also think that if the plane of the instruments isn't completely flat and the gaps are tight, it leads to a little bit of saturation. Some good unsaturation. They're Pavel Pokins. Yeah, most of the Pavel Pokins, or about half of them, it seems like, aren't very saturated. Some are really clean tone. Others are a little bit more distorted. Some Pavels even come with a draw start. Let's see. Oh, a really, really saturated instrument since we're on the kick, and we have it sitting here, would be this one, this Menschinov bass. It's very, very tight, with a good stiffness reed, very saturated. Oh, that is just dripping. Yeah, it's like a Predator themed one. There's an Alien themed one that I gifted to a really good friend. Yuck, 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 yuck. He says, really good for techno sound. Yes, they are really good for techno sound. I'm just not very good at creating techno rhythms, but let's give it a try at it. Pavel Pokin has a couple flat-fronted harp. Have I tried? I have not seen those from Pavel Pokin. I'll have to ask next time I put in an order. Oh, I got this from, I'll mention all of the maker. Yeah. There I'm breathing in and out, and also, a whole mess of comments. I'm sorry about that. I was oming out. And here today we're between the two owl shakers, Owly and Albert. What's that one named? Every one he made, like he doesn't. I don't think that he makes a model of harp. Each harp I'll mention of creates is its own unique standalone thing, kind of like somebody creating a painting. Very, very cool. And it looks, since they're Predator and Alien themed, he even did the triggers on them to look like an alien's tail. Identical play inward and outward, which is good. Let's get into something humusy. Some of the humus are saturated, some are very, very clean. Malt Sev are really clean, so are Lujanov. Do I have a compass? I do have a compass, but it's in the harpery, and I can't go into the harpery without sanitizing myself all off and doing a whole... Where can I buy that harp? You can't buy that particular harp because it's just a one-time build. Get a hold of Mentionov. You can probably find him on social media, on Instagram. Mentionov. You'll know when you see pictures of his harp. And tell him you want a harp built. He'll build a harp that is just for you, of one make only, that is absolutely killer. XX Smoker. I'm well. What trigger designs are suitable for fast play? Well, a variety of different triggers works depending on if the trigger style complements the reed stiffness. Parmaple play extremely well fast. Tarasov. Oh, there's cat hair all over that. Thank you, Mr. Pickles, wherever you may roam. Tarasov, in my experience, play well fast. The Logi Blackfyre play well fast. A lot of the Glazern, if you modify your techniques so you're not catching the inside of the ball, play really well fast. This is a Tarasov in C. And I buy that last one. This one, the harpery.com. I have a few Tarasov on there. I have a few more I don't think I put on there yet. Does anyone know that jaw harps used to be mainly used for I know that jaw harps did have a play in cartoons, especially making spring noises. Also, I believe in Star Wars movies, the clashing of the lightsabers and the sound of the blasters were all done by hitting like high cables, like cables that are up in the mountains. If you hit a long cable, a lot of those noises came from there. I went ziplining once and got told that. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. I just yeah, Glazern Alpha goes fast. A lot of the Glazern are easy to play fast. Most of the time, not the Star though. Oh, got allergies, got a cough. Oh, another fast play and good melodic instrument, if you can find them, are Stepanov. Does anyone know where I can buy an alien jaw harp? I do not. Get a hold of a Mentionov for $200-300. He could probably build you another one, but it's not going to be exactly like this one. Each harp he makes is its own unique work of art. So yeah, get a hold of a Mentionov. He'll just build you one. A lot of the makers aren't super busy right now, but orders are ramping up as people stay home. If you're ordering from overseas, expect to see delays 3 to 5 times the amount of shipping that it normally does. Takes time. Why does my compass keep cutting my mouth? That is the best question. Most of the time when a harp is cutting you, it is a part of the placement of the harp. Can you play Karetdinovs fast? Yes, you can. Karetdinovs play identical inward and outward, and they're an extremely nice harp. Anyways, we're going to answer the question about the compass cutting his mouth. Most of the time when you have an instrument cutting your mouth, it's because you're slid over here, and the reed, the edge of that knee bend is rubbing and abrading the inside of your lip, or sometimes, like on Glazers, a lot of times they'll pinch you. So, oh, hi, Harp-a-Lot, how are you doing? I don't get cut on harps anymore because I found out that if, instead of trying to cram it clear over here and letting it catch on your lip, move it in just a little bit. If you notice, if you feel it rubbing on or pinching your lip, even just rubbing on, even if it doesn't hurt, it will draw blood because you're hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times you're being abraded by a semi-sharp piece of metal. Take that harp, move it in, and create a space right here in the corner. And if you do that, you won't get cut at all. Where can I buy? Just go right straight to Mensch Harp. Have him build you one. And this is a step knob. There, I'm like, it's almost like I'm whistling. What kind of metal do you use to make the reed? Thicknesses, harnesses, and grades. Message me at bebcorp1@gmail.com, or you can message the Harper on Facebook. I do cut reeds for people and do supply people with reed material because when I buy sheets of material to make reed, they're like 10 foot long. I can cut them into usable lengths and sizes for you. I use three different types of metal and thicknesses, or two different types of metal, three different thicknesses, three different hardnesses. The first one, if you want a really flexible reed, I like to use 1074 blue tempered spring steel at a thickness of 0.020 and a Rockwell of 45. Let me see if I do have one of those here, or should. Yes, this is one made with 10.7. This is one I made. Let me just oil this off, because if I don't oil my harps off as I'm playing them, they're probably going to rust, because I play harp after harp after harp. This is one I made, A1 sharp, little Zelda theme, have a Triforce I put on it. This is one I made, and this is 1074 blue tempered spring steel at a Rockwell of 45, thickness of 0.020, and it makes a very rich bass tone that's very flexible. Let me see if I can find a harp that's in a similar length of this next grade. Anyways, I also like 1074 blue tempered spring steel at a thickness of 0.025, which is thicker. What is the oil for? What kind? This is coconut oil. This is a little teeny jelly jar, and I put coconut oil in there. Just plain stuff you get from the store. It keeps it from rusting, and also every time you're wiping it down, you're keeping the harp nice and clean. Here is a harp made out of 1074 blue tempered spring steel at a thickness of 0.025, which is a little bit thicker than 0.020, and a softer Rockwell of 44. Your Rockwell is a hardness, and this one I did a partial distal taper. So not only is it taper in this direction, but distal taper is when you taper the reed in this direction. I leave the back of it flat and I taper it down all the way to the tip. This was the London harp I made when she died. Well, I had to put her down. She was senile and starting to turn kind of mean and getting very confused. But this here, yeah, the reason I put this on her, because it's kind of an ode to her. There's eyes and teeth and hair all over this harp that I engraved on there. But anyways, she had this big bushy tail. She was a 80-pound German short hair dog, and she would, that we got from the shelter, she would get next to the oven. She'd get happy and excited, and her tail would be like, kaboom, 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 and it just echo throughout the house, hitting cabinets and whatnot. So I'm like, the harp needs a big, obtrusive tail. Now this is a harp that was about the same length, maybe a little bit longer than that other one, but it's got a thicker reed that I ground differently. And that Rockwell on that is actually a little bit softer than the .020, but it's thicker, so it's got a little bit more oomph behind it. And if I hadn't have ground differential or distally tapered this on the front, it would have actually been a lot stiffer of a reed and be a louder harp, have a lot more fire to it. But I did get the gaps, what I would call pretty tight and pretty consistent What I stress most is having gaps that are consistent and a flat plane of the reed and the decks. Let's play a harp and made of a different spring steel. This is the hardest spring steel I use. This is 1095 blue temper. Will I do something similar with Columbus? I've never played a kalimba, but you could, I imagine, because that's probably spring steel. But this one is made, Mr. Pickby, now's not the time, dude. Now's not the time. This is made with 1095 blue tempered spring steel, which is basically what people make machetes, swords sometimes out of. 1095 blue tempered spring steel, 0.025 thickness, Rockwell of 48. So 48's approaching, a machete's hardness, which is around 50. Some knives are 55 or so. Really, really hard tool steel knives will be 62. I had a tool steel HK knife once that had a Rockwell of 62. Didn't sharpen on a stone. I had to use my diamonds on it, but this is a much harder steel. And when you grind it, you know that, the difference between 44, 45 Rockwell and 48, it's quite a bit harder, but not quite as hard as a knife steel. But very, very flexible. And this one is distally tapered as well. This was an ode I made to a turtle that I accidentally ran over. I normally stop and pick up turtles and put them in the ditch or in a near creek. But I came up over a hill. I drive a giant box truck for work, and the place I couldn't swerve to miss this this turtle and just ended up smoking it. This big, beautiful water turtle. So I made an ode to it. I was going to give it to Baba Yeb, but I kind of messed up the gaps a little bit. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. There in the middle, these gaps are extremely tight, but there in the middle, it's slightly wider. So I'm like, I'm going to keep it for myself because it sounds good. Turtle, what jungle do I live in? Oh, I live in Kansas. Not a jungle at all. We're the prairie, and especially during flooding season, I've seen like water turtles that are this big, which usually only snapping turtles will get, dinner plate size. But this was a giant water turtle. Rescued several of them and then ended up smoking one on the same road. I'm like, no, my turtle. Was he as old as me? Like, how old do turtles get? What all do turtles do? This is 1095 blue temper at a Rockwell of 48, distally tapered. And I did the tempering different on this one on the London harp. I took it up. Where did I even put my London harp? London, come here. I took it up a little bit higher in heat so it turned purple, but there's still evidence of gold. This one I left more golden, which is your first temperature you come in tempering. But there's hints of purple. You can see where it got a little bit hotter because I temper the entire frames, everything. Because I heat these up, heat my trigger bends up to bend them, and I'm like, I have already altered the temper of it. You're kneeling as you're bending a little bit, then I'm requenching, and then I'm retempering the whole instrument. So it helps to release stress in the bends. But one thing tempering does do, it makes it a little bit extra challenging because as you're relieving stress, the harp will deform a little bit. So there's a little bit of careful adjustment to do afterward. But anyway, somebody had asked about spring steels. You can find a lot of those. 1095 is easy, the hardest to work with, but it's the easiest to find. You can find them, but the pricing is not good. I buy it in bulk from metal suppliers. So if you want me to shear you off a foot or two by 6 inches of it, or if you even have custom dimensions, you want me to shear, I have about a $1,500 Diacro shear. They're about $4,000 new, but anyways, a good Diacro shear where I can very accurately cut and replicate reeds. Sometimes I'll replicate 30 or 40 or 50 reeds for a maker if they want, because a lot of makers don't have access to that type of precision shearing, and hand grinding or hand cutting each reed is a lot more work. I like to shear it accurately, then I can hand grind it from there. Lucky I'm here in the UA. We're not. Oh, I couldn't translate that. I don't know what that was about. But. I'm more on the T. Oh, now we're going to get into the Piezo. Have I tried stainless kitchen knives for reed? Fomenkov actually suggested I do that. I have not. It looked like you had a cretin on there a few minutes ago. Saw the string. Oh, yes, I do. Coconut oil, I can hit the trigger faster. If you I wouldn't suggest using oil to try to hit the trigger faster. If you have a harp with a rough trigger that's untuned and you don't care about changing the sound slightly, I would use a polishing agent of some type and polish the trigger so it slides nicer. Because if your trigger is rough, you're going to have some noise. Somebody said the Haretdanov. Which Haretdanov do I have? I have a D. Oh my gosh. That was a... Mr. Pickles, please quit hairing up all the harps, please. I'm okay with diesel hair, but cat hair is... Seriously? And if you want to play a Haretdanov fast, you've got to have accurate plucking because those gaps are tight. He tempers his harps too, and you can see all different colors on them. I use 2000 grit sandpaper to make the... Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome. There I'm plucking slow, but my tongue work is fast. Because things that happen in my mouth, I can do generally faster than I can move my finger. This finger, I got a wonky finger from doing foolish things in my youth, my high school and my college years. I have one finger on my hand that's actually shorter than each other. I broke it and the bone broke apart like this and it slid back, it healed, and should have went to the doctor way sooner because I snapped it in half. Tried hanging a whole bunch of sheetrock with a broken hand. Didn't work. Man, that thing sounds... Oh, yeah, dude. The Haretdanov, Khay, Retdanov on harper.com. These are nice. The maker, Haretdanov, he's made a whole bunch of harps. I think in the next week he's going to be mailing them out. He made a chromatic set for me in a burl. I might be getting more of them if people are interested in a super expensive chromatic set. But, yeah, his instruments. I like how the case is a part of it. It's kind of a little bit simpler version of what Dabrowski does. Dabrowski are a little bit more ornate cases. I've got the case twisted. Anyways, speaking of Dabrowski, we got the Piezo out. Let's touch on the Piezo a little bit. Got my drum out. I'm getting better on playing my giant drum. I've noticed that a 16-inch drum you don't want to hit hard, which the 16-inch drum is over there. Is that one expensive? It is a little bit expensive. They're about $10, $15 cheaper than the Shipping. This is, I think, $130. That includes shipping. But yeah, the Haretdanov are a little bit expensive. So are Shipping. So are most harps that are very, very melodic. If you want a killer melodic instrument for around $100 the case, I would highly suggest getting a hold of Dennis Plehanov on Facebook. Used to not make very many harps, but due to the pandemic and other reasons, he's making more harps. These are extremely good. What I like about him too is his trigger shapes work perfectly inward or outward. I don't play outward, but a lot of people do. So a lot of people, if they get a harp that doesn't play well outward, they're not going to have a good time. And this is a G2. That's a little tail on it because I like my Morchang style killer. So if you want really, really good melodics, you don't want to spend more than $100, I would highly suggest these. Very good. If you can find Tartars, Tartar Standards, they're hard to find. I cannot get these for the store because the only way to contact the maker is to go to Russia to talk to them, and I can't go to Russia. The Tartar Standard. And normal Gorkas that don't have draw starts, the Gorka tailors are really melodic, or fairly melodic, fairly clean. So are Rekka hybrids. I have a whole bunch of hybrids coming, but nothing is moving out of India right now. They can't courier stuff. They can't ship stuff. This is Tartar Standard. Oh, the Tartars for $30. They used to be about 26. Now they're $31. You can find them on Oberton Pro is about the only place you can find them. And you want the Tartars made by Vakitov. I have not tried the Mustafina. Mustafina, from what I've gathered or what I've heard, are not quite as melodic. But the Tartar Vakitov, very, very good. Let's see, what was I going to play? Oh, I was going to play a Piezo. I made something, somebody says I made a cool song, take a magnet, plug a harp, and then move magnet up and down. Oh, yeah. You can actually, if you get Glazerin, and I do offer this, if somebody wants, I can double tune a Glazerin, the Glazerin Phantoms. You can tune the actual harp trigger to a note without the ball in, and then I can take and I can grind a little bit off the magnet till I raise to hit a note. So I've done that before. Do double tunings for Phantoms. In general, I don't play a lot of harps with magnets. Magnets tend to, especially if their magnets are stored near your harps, they tend to impart this magnetic quality. Hard to put a finger on. So magnetic harps, I tend to store them away from my other harps. This is a Piezo. It says demagnetism. Yeah, there is a process you can go do to that demagnetize instruments. I don't know how to do it. Jamie, so can you use the jaw harp backwards trigger in left hand? Yeah, a little bit. Let me not do it with a Piezo because Piezo are just sickeningly, shamefully tight. Piezo are flawless. Let's see. See where I go with this. Here's a Blackfyre. I'll just try playing it left-handed. I was born left-handed, actually. I do some stuff left-handed. I still shoot left-handed as well because my left eye is dominant. That doesn't change. Whenever I sight these instruments, a lot of times I do it with my left eye. Right eye is okay. And if you want to tell which eye is dominant, look at something with both eyes and close one eye and see which one it moves in. The one where the item remains stationary, that's your dominant eye. Okay, anyways, we're going to try to play left-handed. You're going to watch me fail at this. I do draw sometimes with my left hand, do painting and art with my left hand. I eat with my left hand, but I don't play with my left hand, so... Oh, yeah, same thing with me. My mom changed me to being a left-hander or a right-hander, so I'm semi-ambidextrous, but not fully. I am Smiley says I harp left, shoot right. Oh, nice. I harp right and shoot left, so I'm actually way better with a rifle than I am with a shotgun. It even throws me off, I've noticed, because I've tried practicing left-handed, because the harp reed, everything is different, feels different in my mouth, so I'm not used to cradling the overtones with my mouth with them coming from this direction, if that makes any sense. No, I can't do it. Yeah, this side I'm way more depth. Anyways, we'll do one more song. Let's get down on a DeBrow. Actually, I played a lot of really, really expensive instruments tonight. Let's play something that costs almost no money. What do I have here? Where are you? Oh, yeah, Rekka. See what Rekka we have here. Here's a hybrid G. Yeah, I tuned it to a G. Anyways, be sure to keep your harps. It's like I'm learning. Oh, nice. Play the first song I learned. The first song I ever learned was Ode to Joy on a cornet. I can still remember the fingering for the scale on the cornet, which is just like a slightly smaller, fatter trumpet. But anyways, I love y'all. Keep your harps clean, keep dry, keep well. Be good to each other. It's if you can get out and get a little bit of sunlight, do so. If even it's going under your front porch, get some sunlight, because if you're staying inside in the shade all the time, it's gonna make you a little bit pressed, and we don't want to be pressed. So get a little bit of sunshine, get a little bit of exercise a day, 30 minutes a day. Keep your hobbies up, keep a routine. I love y'all. Harp out. Oh, excellent to see you again, Dual Sport PNW. Play the harp over the coronavirus. I've been referring to it as the Rona. For the first week I heard about it, I referred to it as Miley virus. See you later. Great show. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for enjoying the harpery. This is a Rekka hybrid. Got some highly polished ones coming, but they trapped in Rajasthan at the moment. Yeah, I've been singing a little bit. I'm not very good at singing. I've watched Frozen like maybe 10 or 15 times this week. Frozen 1, Frozen 2. My son's running the Frozen gamut. There's that. Oh, harp out back at you. I wonder if I can do that outward and inward. Let's just see where that laughing thing takes us. Oh, I might pass out from that. Let's see if I pass out. I love y'all. Harp out. And it feels like I'm flaring my nose out. I'm trying to use my nose. Use the nose whistle. I love y'all. Zoom meeting. Oh, I keep in mind I am on Instagram every Friday, or maybe every other Friday. I'm going to try to go live on Instagram and have a guest on there. Next Friday we might be having Fractal Burrito, fantastic player, on there playing and talking about his techniques. If you want to be on part of my live Instagram feed, shoot me a message at the Harpery on Facebook, or shoot me a message, BebCorp on Instagram, and we'll set something up. Because on Instagram Live we can just add you in, then we go into a split screen. It's a lot of fun. I love y'all. Harp out again. Peace. Should I end it? Should I end it now? Yeah, we gonna end it. Love y'all.